Okay, we are live. All right, yo, what's going on, guys? As you can tell, I just kind of got up, but the AP poll came out, I think, yesterday, and I ended my podcast right after or right before the AP poll came out. So we're just gonna react to this new AP poll right here. Let's go over right here. So here it is, official by the AP website, Associated Press. So they move Alabama up to number 1, move Georgia down to number 2. These two seem to keep flip flopping. Personally, I think Ohio State should be number 1. They have consistently been, the best. Eye test shows they have consistently been like the best team. As you can see here, Alabama got number 1 by just 2 votes, it looks like. Michigan, Clemson, USC, they all stayed the same, which, I'm fine with. I personally think Clemson should be a little bit higher. They have showed, they've had early tests versus Wake Forest and NC State, and they were able to pass through. I think Clemson is probably better than at least Michigan. I think they should be in the top 4. USC is there. Oklahoma State moves up after beating Baylor, which, is deserved. Tennessee had the bye week this week. They stay at number 8. Ole Miss moves up for beating Kentucky. I think... I mean, we'll see. I think Ole Miss might deserve to be as high as like number 7, maybe even 6. It looked pretty good. It was a close one versus Kentucky, but a Kentucky team that I think is pretty good. Then we have Penn State. They're pretty underrated. They could be just as good as Michigan, Ohio State. Big Ten again is very top heavy. It's pretty much just Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State, and they're all in the same division. So that's going to be wild. It's going to be interesting. Then we have Utah. They move up 1. Oregon moves up 1. I don't want to sound like biased or nothing, but you could make the argument that Oregon deserves to be ahead of Utah. Oregon has technically the better loss. They lost to Georgia, who's now number 1, number 2. But they did lose 49-3, and than Oregon. So whatever. But Florida doesn't look very good this year. Maybe middle of the pack average. Do we have? I hope this in. Test. Okay. Hopefully it was plugged in the whole time. We'll see. I have my window open right now. If you can hear like the birds or whatever, so it's chill. Kentucky is at number 13. Their big win was against Florida, so that makes sense that they dropped down all the way to 13. NC State down to 14. Wake Forest is there at 15, which makes sense. They were able to bounce back, beat Florida State. BYU moves up. TCU gets in there, which is definitely deserved. They beat Oklahoma. UCLA gets in there. Kansas gets in there. Here's where all the new teams have come in. Mississippi State, Cincinnati, and now LSU. So yeah, I think very well deserved. You could say maybe like either Coastal Carolina, maybe Washington State, James Madison maybe even should deserve to be in the top 25. But looking at through the top 25, I think all the teams in here deserve to be in the top 25 for sure. You got the undefeated teams that haven't been tested very much, like Syracuse, Kansas. You could maybe say Kansas and TCU is going to be a fun matchup. They're like the two top dogs here in the Big 12. Big 12 again is struggling. Obviously, they got Oklahoma State. I think the Big 12 should really hope for Oklahoma State to win out, because obviously it looks like, I don't know about the College Football Playoff Committee, but obviously it looks like Oklahoma State is the most favorable among like the AP poll. Yeah, Washington goes down after losing to UCLA, and that loss was kind of worse than it looks, to be honest. Washington State is almost in there. We'll see. Looking at the next week games, though, let's go back up to the top here. Alabama's got Texas A&M, and Texas A&M, you know, if anyone, I think they'll show up to play Alabama. They're very up and down. Texas A&M is, and even with their win against Arkansas, I feel they got a little lucky. That random play with the fumble with I think it was KJ Jefferson, and then Cam Little misses the field goal. They got a little lucky to me, it seems like. Georgia's been kind of shaky. Auburn could do some damage. They lost to LSU just this last week, though. Ohio State's got Michigan State. Michigan State hasn't looked very good this year. Michigan's got Indiana. That should be a good matchup. Boston College and Clemson. Washington State and USC. That you know, Pac-12 definitely seems to be better this year than in previous years. A lot of pretty good teams. A lot of one-loss undefeated, or one or two. I think two undefeated teams now. Just USC and UCLA, I believe. Tennessee and LSU. Another top 25 matchup. If Tennessee can beat LSU at Death Valley, that will be a big win for Tennessee. That'll be a good matchup, Tennessee and Georgia, whenever that happens. Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, they should be able to take care of Vanderbilt. And Ole Miss will move up. Still, like, looking through the list here, all the undefeated teams, they look like they should stay undefeated. Going down here, TCU and Kansas, one will lose there. And then UCLA has got a big test against Utah. Utah is actually ranked higher than them. Utah, I think, has looked a little better than UCLA. That will be a very good matchup. Oregon has got Arizona. They should be able to beat Arizona. We'll see. But if UCLA can beat Utah, that will be a big-time signature win. Having a bit of a good little surprise season here. And then Kansas State, they're still in the mix with the Big 12 as well. They got Iowa State. Syracuse should be able to take care of Wagner. Arkansas and Mississippi State, I think this will be a very good game. I'm still believing Arkansas State. They should have taken advantage when Bryce Young went out, but we'll see. And then, LSU and Tennessee, we already talked about that. Cincinnati. Overall, I would maybe switch around this top 5, top 10 here. Switch them around. But overall, I agree with everyone in the top 25. Okay, I think that's going to be it. Thank you all for watching. Peace.